First tonight on BBC4, a double bill of Tyler Brulé's CounterCulture, exploring the Italian attitude to retail, branding and fashion.
Like so many Italian cities, Bologna's retail landscape has been defined by this curious cocktail of Renaissance architecture, a strong tradition of family business, and also a legacy of left-wing governments, all friendly for independent business, but not particularly great if you're a chain retailer. In Bologna, as in many other places in provincial Italy, people live, work and play in the city centre. Here there's no flight to the suburbs. People want to be within the city walls and savour a slower, more convenient pace of life. Among those who've fallen victim to the city's relaxed allure is a British designer, Sebastian Byrne, who left London to set up home here 5 years ago.
Bologna is a city that is very agreeable to live on an everyday basis. What Bologna gives you is a sum total of many small things which make the difference. So it might be that you can ride around town on your bicycle or on foot. You have a good quality cup of coffee, or you have a great cup of coffee. The experience of buying your groceries. Like I say, it's many, many small things that add up together to make you feel comfortable and happy, which puts you in a kind of good, positive frame of mind for doing other things, like whatever it is, your work or dealing with the kids or whatever it might be.
Or it might well be shopping. Shopping in the city centre is as much leisurely event as purposeful activity. It's a chance to check out other locals, the odd exotic tourist, enjoy an espresso, and all of this revolves around myriad smaller, independent shops.
Many Italian cities are historically, in a kind of architectural sense, have a very strong centre, and there are often building limitations, and it's not that easy to kind of put a big supermarket in the centre of town. And when they do put a new store in, they have to build it and install it with quite strict guidelines. So it tends to integrate very nicely into the physical structure of the city. So even if you do have a Benetton or whatever it might be, a kind of whatever chain, it tends to be less obtrusive. So when you walk down the street, even though it's there, it doesn't kind of bother you quite as much as it might do in other cities. And that's partly to do with the architecture, I think.
It's not just the fabric of Italian cities that shapes the retail landscape, it's also the fabric of Italian society. In a country where the family is still a strong institution, family businesses are very much at the core of retailing.
The family in Italy is still a fundamental node of our society in any kind, in many different perspectives. So from a cultural point of view, from an economical point of view, from a social point of view. And well, the presence of thousands of family businesses is also one of the expression of our DNA. And this is an obstacle to diffusion of retail chains.
Businesses often stay in the same family for generations. This is one of Italy's most ancient shops, dating back to 1694. It's a bit of a landmark in the city as it's been on the same site owned by the same family for nearly 100 years. It now supplies more than just the religious knickknacks it sold when, for several centuries, it was run by the Vatican.
It's only one, red.
Grapes.
Oh, this is good quality.
Trieste?
Yes, brand of Trieste. This is Treviso, made in Treviso.
Okay.
I'll take one and one.
Okay.
Okay. Lo regalo.
Okay, perfect.
Grazie. And as we make this, I can't sort of help thinking that we're actually chronicling the end of an era that probably someday people aren't going to really care if their cards are made in Trieste or Treviso. They're only going to want to buy on price. Around the medieval streets, which now house the daily food market, there are further reminders of how much Italian society valued specialists and craftsmen. Jeweller Street, Fishmonger Street, Upholsterer Street. Now, I'm probably going to get death threats for saying this, but Bologna is often regarded as Italy's capital of food, and it's on retail food streets like this that you really get an understanding of what the Italian shopping experience is all about, because where other countries have embraced the whole notion of the supermarket, it's on streets like these where Italians make a daily ritual out of coming to purchase cheese and fruits and vegetables and fish and meats, and they develop this extraordinary local relationship with the people who actually run this trade. Do you think this type of panini tobacco cafe setup, will continue to endure? I mean, so far this country has been relatively Starbucks resistant.
Sure. I mean, I think it's something which we already here. You can already see a little bit the change which is starting to happen. There are some chains which have opened up. It's not Starbucks, but Segafredo who have 2 or 3. But nevertheless, you still have that kind of loyal customer who comes, and I think something like this place will continue to stay. This kind of personal relationship with the person selling you products is something which is very particularly Italian, and it's something which doesn't exist so much in the UK anymore. And I think it's down to trust. So as soon as you eat something from a butcher, let's say, and you don't like it and it's not good quality, the next day you go back and say that chicken was not good, or that steak was not as good as it should have been, and so on. And it kind of continues like that.
But for how much longer? In recent times, there's been a bit of a revolution in traditional retail. Out-of-town shopping malls have started to appear around the cities, catering for people who find it easier to park and shop here rather than use the largely pedestrianised city centres. These malls also attract customers through lower prices. In response, some Italian regions now actively protect their smaller independent shops.
I think that one of those forces which are helping the survival of small local shops in Italy is the fact that they have always been extremely protected by the political system in Italy.
Does that continue to happen?
It's continued to happen. With Berlusconi, the presence of laws which are in a way trying to reduce the presence of huge shopping malls in Italy has become more weak. But we have still in many Italian regions laws which are selecting the number of shopping malls, like in Lombardy, in Piedmont, and Emilia-Romagna. And this is still quite an important help for the survival.
City centre retailers have felt the economic impact of this new shopping trend, but in the long run, it may be the customer as well who stands to lose out. At one of the city's top houseware shops, the owner thinks choice and quality are at stake.
Poi noi cerchiamo soprattutto la qualità, perché siccome i grandi magazzini hanno poi normalmente prodotti magari anche carini, ma accessibili a tutti, noi cerchiamo l'eccellenza in tutti i settori. Se io dovessi fare come mestiere la buyer di una catena di negozi, lo so perché ho delle conoscenze che fanno questa professione, avrei dei grossi limiti. Nel grande magazzino ci sono quelle 7-8 firme e basta. Da me ci sono 100 ditte o più, non lo so, penso di più, ditte produttrici, perché io pesco il meglio, quello che io ritengo essere il meglio da tutte.
Italy's city centres have so far managed to hold back the invasion by the world's mass retail brands, and you could argue that some of the top-end retailers have launched an assault of their own. The likes of Gucci, Prada, Tod's, and even La Perla are taking that very unique Italian style of developing a relationship with their customer and exporting it around the world. La Perla is a typical example of a family business Italian style gone global. It all started in Bologna in 1954 when Ada Mazzotti, a corset maker for the well-to-do ladies of the city, set up a small workshop. More than 50 years later, her granddaughter Anna Mazzotti, together with her parents, runs a business with a turnover in excess of 200 million euros. The core values of skillful craftsmanship have been updated, but not fundamentally changed.
All La Perla lingerie products are produced in this high specialized department. And also we do some specific products, some luxury products like this, that is a frastaglio, that it is very old Florentine process. And in this case, for example, this frastaglio is made by hand and scissors.
Right.
So
And she's cutting out every single...
yeah, she follows the drawing and she cuts really near the lace. So it's very delicate because she can cut the lace, so she has to pay attention. And it's very particular because all the women are really put a lot of attention in to do this product. And after, you can see here, for example, we use the machine, but if you can see, the hands follow all the lace, all the flowers, you know? So it's something that creates a product unique because one is completely different from the other.
This is a finished piece now.
Yeah, this is the finished piece, and this is really old process that also my grandmothers loved very much because it's come from the past.
When we walked around the factory floor and we saw these women who've clearly got incredible skill, how important is the whole notion of craft in this business, in your manufacturing process? And is there something uniquely Italian as to what goes into La Perla?
The important thing is to do something very unique, very exclusive. And to do this, you have to follow and to give a very important to the quality of the product. So we absolutely follow this teaching, and we first of all want to use the very exclusive material tessued, like for example the lace from Calais, and also we want to reproduce the features that are come from the Italy artisan tradition. And after we put some technology inside this because it is very important to do pieces very comfortable. So we put tradition and innovation together, and La Perla wants to do something that create a beautiful woman.
Though La Perla's core business of lingerie and nightwear has expanded over time into other lines like beachwear and ready-to-wear, the emphasis remains on focusing on the premium end of the market. La Perla buys into the Italian slow movement concept, a trend started as a reaction to the Western throwaway culture epitomized by fast food, which includes the idea of slow shopping.
The best way to show a product is for me to have a time to explain to the customers. So for us it's very important the slow shopping. We want to create a sort of relationship between the customers and the shop manager, because the shopping have to be a sort of personal experience. So you need the time, and it's important to enter and to have the possibility to touch the product, to see and to have someone who explain to you what there is behind this. We know that the customer appreciates this, and they are more happy to buy something that understand that behind there is really an important and traditional Italian story.
It's upon this sort of traditional expertise, combined with cutting-edge technology, that much of the prestige of the Made in Italy brand is based. Since the Middle Ages, families in the Marche region on the eastern coast of Italy have worked leather in the area's tanneries. Many of the country's most famous leather exports are made here, with more than 40% of the region's population involved in shoemaking. This is the home of Tod's, one of Italy's best-known premium brands and what is fast becoming one of the world's leading luxury goods companies. With over 100 stores worldwide, Tod's is recognized as one of Europe's family business success stories. These shoes, with their exceptional craftsmanship, distinctive rubber studs on the sole, and proudly stamped Made in Italy label, have taken Tod's a long way from its humble beginnings. The business was founded by a cobbler, grandfather of the current owner, now one of Italy's richest and most influential figures, La Valle. Diego, what is the essence of Made in Italy to you?
The essence is what we see here. The best quality as is possible to do today, expert people that work handmade, cutting, stitching, control any details, a big group of small artisans that work for us, our group. I think that the Made in Italy is not possible to translate in other parts of the world. I think the future for the luxury, for the high quality is here. For us, for me personally, but for all my peoples, it's like a religion. No? We try to make the best as is possible to do. We don't change our point of view when there is the opportunity for grow a lot. If this is dangerous for our strategy, we want to give a strong success for our shareholder, and we make that, if you see the story of Tod's Group. But I don't forget, never first is the quality. Product, quality, strategy. We don't make a product that is without any sense, with the story of my family and my group. And this is what the consumer like. The respect of the strong ingredients that we have in our store and strategy. Behind the company, you need to have the tradition, factories, the best materials is possible to buy today, and the people that want to make the best.
Is this unique to Italy then? If we look back over time, this culture, quality, craft tradition, is it unique to the Marche? Is it unique to what happens in Firenze? And why? What were the forces in Italy that created these strong family businesses in this sector?
But I think that for our business, I think Italy is the best, in my opinion. In Italy, there is a good group of famous brands, but behind there is 1,000 and 1,000 small company that this is the real strong power that we have in the quality, because these people sometimes work for brands like us and give us a big energy, because this is usually small groups, family groups, with people that work day by day for 3-4 generations in the high quality small details. I think that there is a big difference when you want to produce the high quality level if you stay in Italy or out of Italy.
There's more to the Made in Italy brand than just high quality craftsmanship. What really sets premium Italian companies apart is this exceptional ability to create desirability through design. While there are centers of manufacturing excellence spread all over the country, Milan remains the hub for the country's luxury business. It's home to a host of the world's most recognized and respected premium fashion brands, and for decades has been the staging ground for Italy's luxury goods assault on cities around the world. Prada has been the epitome of luxury from the start. When the first shop opened in 1913 in the heart of Milan's fashionable Galleria, it supplied leather luggage to the aristocracy. Many of the shop's original features have changed little since those early days of Mario Prada, the grandfather of current owner Miuccia.
I think he was really curious. He liked beautiful things, and he went around Europe, but also Japan, and later on in America, to search really what was the best at those times. So he was more a traveler And I realized that some pieces that I have are really eccentric. That was an eccentric period, the beginning of the century.
It was several decades later, in the 1970s, that Mario's granddaughter took over the company. At that time, its fortunes were flagging. This trend was swiftly reversed. When you sunk your hands into this business, did you recognize the opportunity that it was just in Milan or it was Italian, or that it was going to be this global brand?
Actually, neither then and now. I never think about what is Prada, who I am. I'm just thinking and interested in what I have to do and what I'm interested in. There is not this sense of becoming something. There are not actually strategies. Just the strategy is to do clever things, good things in a good way. So that's all. So what I think that in Italy we have all this ability in craftsmanship, in understanding luxury and beauty, is nearly disappeared. So very often when I do things that are so sophisticated, so like distinguishing 10 hundreds of different kind of silk and deciding not this or trying another one. And after you have somebody in the company but say you are the last romantic, because who understand all this luxury? That's the problem. So they think it's luxury, what is actually is maybe is very tacky, but the real luxury are really so few the people who understand.
For those who do understand, there's no shortage of city centre shops offering pure luxury to discerning customers. But can this type of buying and selling experience survive, given recent pressures like the competition from out-of-town malls?
All the people want to go shopping in the big mall. And I think this is really bad for Italy, because the power and the fascination of Italy is the richness in art and in building that we have in the hundreds of fantastic cities that we have. But in many centers now there is no life anymore. And the pity is that in the center will become only just about fantastic architecture that we have, and who needs the shops?
There is now the Italy discover, the big center, the mall where you go buy product, there is everything, is a very Anglo-American idea about the shopping. I think this is correct, it's very modern, this is what the people need for many reasons, but in my opinion, this don't cancel the old traditional retail that was and it is today too in the whole part of the city. There is many new interesting shops, small shops, that if you go inside you see young people that guide the shops with a good product, the display is interesting, the shopping bag is charming, everything with ideas and with a strong respect about the tradition, more than before.
Fedeli cashmere is the best quality for Italiana.
These are handmade shirts and are made in Bologna.
Mm-hmm. And the cut on these is?
In our classical shirt we have a straight shirt and more tight shirt. Like that.
You want to have a look?
What about the Made in Italy brand itself? Italian manufacturers face increasing financial pressures to move production to cheaper places like China. So is the brand destined to die? Will this country continue to make beautiful furniture, lovely clothes, great shoes, or does it just become a country of brands and everything is made somewhere else? What do you think will happen 5, 10 years from now?
I think that we have to protect the Made in Italy, because we are doing something, some features, some working, some process very, very precious. And I think that for China it's very difficult to enter in this mentality, because yes, they really do the things very quickly, do a lot of things, but they work for the quantity, I think. We work not for the quantity, but we work to do beautiful products. And I know maybe in the future everything is possible, but by now I think that we have to defend this market, the made in Italy, because there is a story behind everything here. There is a family, there is a city that we love, and there is an atmosphere. And I think at the end, when you see a product in your hand, you have a story in your hand. And I think that at the end, the customer can really appreciate this.
Some of your colleagues in the Italian luxury goods business would say the only thing that matters is the brand that's stamped in the shoe, the name which is sewn on the label. Doesn't matter where it's made, Vietnam, Romania, the made in Italy is not important. Do you agree?
Not, I don't agree. I don't agree, because if the brands that say that believe in that, why don't put the name with write made in China big like that? Because the consumer want to know that. I respect. If you think that a big name with made in China is okay, put very clean, not inside the pocket. You know, it's better don't be too much nervous about price, about profit, about cost. It's better to go back at home, to be concentrated about our business, to try to understand if the brands is really respectable or not, and don't change the idea that it's possible to have the same quality that we have in Italy out of Italy. It's not true. It's not true, especially for the consumer. And it's better to work very tough in the company to change something and to go in this direction, but in Italy, not out of Italy.
I still get the sense that Italy might well go the way of Germany, the UK, and the United States, and end up with cities scarred by bland high streets. But if anywhere is resistant to change in Europe, it's this country. Just as the slow movement has captured the imagination of a world frustrated with cardboard food, perhaps slow shopping, complete with more independent businesses, will find a following elsewhere.
Definitely the world is communicating, and is communicating at every level, intellectually, physically, so to hope to keep, so probably the particularity of a country have to be kept like protecting an animal, but how can you forbid people to communicate, to go here and there? So I think it's kind of a lost battle, but maybe it's not a lost battle, maybe it's also good, no? So we are all here in this planet, and okay, Italy or different countries can have their particularities that has in a way to be protected, but you can't forbid life and communication to go on.
Well, that's all from Italy. We're now going to jump across the Mediterranean to Libya, the land without brands. See you next week.
Stay with us for more from the souk to the supermarket. Tyler Brûlé finds Libya relatively untouched by Western branding and consumerism. The last counterculture next.